meat.
Welcome back from the break. This is Mostly Superheroes here in the basement with Scotty Scoop, the Giggler. I'm your host, Logan, and it is time for the meat, the chunk, the sizzle. We're going to cook it up nice for you. It's why you came. It's why we came. And we cannot wait to talk about the third movie in our Spider-Man rewatch. Phase Zero comicbook.com podcast inspired us to get us ready for Spider-Man No Way Home this December. Franchises are coming together, and we can't wait to see how and why and what's going to happen. But characters from movies you've seen long ago could be making a special appearance. With that, we have talked about the first of the three Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. We talked about the second one, and here we are now, 2007's Spider-Man 3. Let's give it up. We're going to break it down. You know, I'm realizing now that on the screen there's a bold-faced lie. Can you guys spot it out?
Stars
was the home. What in the world happened this week? Andy, I think you have the funniest story of all. We knew where to watch these. We talked about this a month and a half ago, where we helped you talk about where these movies live. Stars has been the place. This is a Sony movie. It is a Marvel movie. Spider-Man is a Sony property, and they were there. And now they're not. Here we are in real time, October 27th, 2021. You started it on Stars over the weekend, Andy.
Some of us bought Stars for this, correct?
Yes. I gotta remember to cancel that as soon as we get done here, because they are all not just Spider-Man 3, all of them, to where we searched Spider-Man 3 and it said nothing. And Carrie was like, "What's going on here?" I was like, "I don't know. Just search Spider-Man." I was like, "I know for a fact Spider-Man's on here. They got the Amazing Spider-Man, I think, the couple first films. No, they're gone." You were halfway through.
Yes, I started this on Saturday, I think. We had the big wedding on Sunday from our buddy Chris. And,
congratulations, Chris and Casey.
Yeah, buddy. Wow. That was so much fun.
Great day. Made Monday horrible.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
But I watched half and I was like, I'll leave a little bit, catch up on Monday or Tuesday before we record. I forgot until work today. I turned it on and I cannot find it anywhere. I'm like, no way this changed. And then immediately I was just like, in my head, I was like, if I was a greedy ass Stars executive, I'd be like, or not. It's probably not even a Stars. Stars wouldn't take the movie off of their own platform, so it's got to be a Sony thing, maybe.
Or Stars is owned by, I don't even know, like some big oil company.
Like when you rent a movie. So I rented it from like Amazon Prime today to watch for $3, $4 maybe.
Same. Yeah, $2.99.
Who gets that money? Is it Prime? Where does that money go to?
It's getting so messy nowadays for like the everyday person, at least for myself, to like keep track of the ownership, who's in bed with who, why do they do what. But we talked about it during dinner, during Pizza Roll and Mini Taco Diet, and we talked about the fact that this always happens. It inevitably always happens where, the next big movie's coming out about this thing you like. Take it off the streaming services. People will pay for it. They'll buy it and they'll rent it. Scotty, do you agree?
Absolutely. They see the dollar signs.
That's it. It's a
People
money grab.
Want to catch up.
That's it. And we were talking about it, like between Phase Zero and us. I mean, there's probably hundreds of thousands of people that are rewatching Spider-Man right now for these episodes. We may have caused this.
It's definitely us.
They saw a spike. But you can still watch it. You can rent it out there. Like you said, Amazon Prime, Apple, it's all over the place to rent. If you got it somewhere else, by all means, let us know, because this is a great time to be rewatching these. A little background on the film. It came out in 2007, 3 years after Spider-Man 2. Sam Raimi returns to direct the film. Tobey Maguire is back. Kirsten Dunst, James Franco. Topher Grace is in this movie. Bryce Dallas Howard is in this movie. And Thomas Hayden Church. This movie had a budget of $250 million. About $50 million more than the second movie, about $90 million more than the first one, and it made $894 million. About $90 million more than Spider-Man 2, so did just fine. Spoiler alert for the film. We're going to do some gut checks here. Scotty, we'll start with you because Spider-Man 2, you said, was one of your favorite movies of all time. What about Spider-Man 3?
Guys, I like this movie.
I love it.
Go ahead.
It's got its problems. The jazz scene, of course. Man, I think this is a fun popcorn flick.
Hell yeah.
for sure.
I'm with you. I'm right there with you.
And this version of Venom has its issues. I like this version of Venom better than the current version of Venom.
Wow.
Whoa.
I was not expecting that.
Why?
You had that in your back pocket all day. You're coming to blow
Yeah,
these guys'
For
minds.
sure.
Yeah, why?
This is the villainous Venom that I think we didn't get in the Venom franchise. Eddie Brock hates Spider-Man.
Yep.
Hates Spider-Man. That
You know that from the cartoon even.
yeah,
I mean, probably from the comics.
from the comics.
But from the cartoon, I mean, absolutely.
And I've just always been a hater of a villain movie without a hero. And I think that's where the Venom movie kind of fell short for me, both of them. You know, I don't like the Joker without Batman. I don't like it. Like, I just don't see a reason for a villain movie. Like they later in the comics, Venom becomes an anti-hero and eventually a hero.
through a journey.
Yeah. I didn't feel that from he starts as a villain.
Sure.
That's how it
Just
is for me.
out of the get-go.
Yeah.
And that's how it starts.
Yep.
That's a fair share, man. That's what I'll tell you there. Spider-Man 3, Andy. Tell us how you think about this film, especially after just with the last two so fresh.
Yeah, I still enjoyed watching it. Not as much as the first two. I would say if I could change, I'll get into this more detailed later, but I could change like a couple small things about this movie, and I bet it would be 83% on Rotten Tomatoes versus 63 what it was in real life.
Yeah,
So,
right. That's 63%
Yeah,
on
these are
Rotten
bad.
Tomatoes, 6.2 on IMDb, 59% Metacritic. Not great scores.
It's a bad tomato meter.
Not very good. Well, I'm gonna, as usual, meet in the middle of the road because what happened with me rewatching this was similar to what happened with Spider-Man 2. I think that I realized that I really beat this movie up when it first came out in 2007. I also know around that time I was probably more inclined just to follow the crowd, whereas as I get a little older and a little riper, I'm more like, I don't really give a shit what you think. So I think that this movie did just fine as well. I think it was so much fun. I think that absolutely there's little buckets in there where you're like, you don't need so much of this. It's almost like they really, really get into their heads about, we got to tell Peter Parker's story.
Yeah.
That they get so deep into that rabbit hole that they end up in some weird places about, like, essentially, how far away can you get from Peter Parker? We're going to talk about it. But let's talk about the story, and glad to get those gut checks out of the way. And let's see if we can break this thing down. Again, not scene by scene, more of like a ramble of favorite parts, how it goes. Kick it off. Spider-Man 3, man. Tobey Maguire's back. It's been years. It's been 3 years for us. Remember the hype for this? I mean, the Spider-Man had taken over. He's on your Pepsi cans. He's on your McDonald's large fry. He's all over the place. And in the movie, it's exactly the same. He's doing well.
Yeah.
He's no longer like sad, mopey. I mean, he's still poor, still dirt poor, still in the same apartment. Even,
Yeah.
Years later, I'm almost like, you need to get your shit together.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man's doing just fine. There's a parade coming up in the big city. He's going to get the key to the city. And Mary Jane, who was on top of the world Spider-Man 2 as a big actress, I mean, let's just say it right out of the gate. They triple down on the relationship between Mary Jane and Spider-Man. It's very much an intricate part of the story. And they keep you very apprised of, Mary Jane in this one, she's got a bad review from being in the place she's been in all this time. And she gets fired.
Yep. Replaced.
Just replaced and not told about it.
Yeah.
Shows up to practice, like to play
Rehearsal,
practice,
yeah.
rehearsal, to practice.
Play.
So, play. I was in plays. I was in
Never
many
been
plays.
there.
I called it play practice. Rehearsals. You went to some fancy school, Scotty. And she doesn't even know. She gets her heart broken. And Peter just can't quite hear her because he's just so happy with how it's going with Spider-Man. But he's very happy. He's ready to propose.
Yep.
And, he tells Aunt May, he's like, I'm going to do this. And essentially, too, James Franco making his appearance back as Harry Osborn has not forgotten about the grudge, about Spider-Man killed my dad. Spider-Man is my friend Peter Parker, doesn't really talk to him, blows him off at the play. But this movie, what I loved about it is it kind of opens up out of the gate with some hard action. Like
Yeah.
I remember seeing this the first time. You're like, they're not messing around. Peter Parker on his bike. He gets done seeing Aunt May. He's riding home. He gets attacked
Yeah. Boom.
off the bike. Here we go. It's a fight scene. Whoa, it's a glider. Whoa, Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'll give it up for James Franco.
Yeah.
Good villain.
Yeah. They went hard. Went hard in that scene.
Very hard. And this guy, he's just a bad guy.
Yep.
He decides, I'm not only going to like use my dad's goblin stuff to like, terrorize Spider-Man, my friend Peter, I'm going to go and get in the gas chamber. Like he just goes on in the gas chamber, bumps himself up, walks out. Guess it went a lot better than this time. He didn't have the, William Dafoe just with his eyes in the back of his head.
When you do the screenshots for next week's episode
That's
title, you need to do that.
With my eyes in the
Yeah,
back of my
yeah.
head. Just no, he comes out, he's fine, he's super strong, and we get the crazy fight scene between him and Peter Parker as like Spider-Man in his normal everyday clothes, swinging through the city, losing the ring,
Yeah.
the ring falling in slow motion. He can't quite get it. They do it like 3 times, or
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, just get the ring.
Just get the ring.
And man, the epic. I'll give it, man. Sam Raimi and the team on these movies. The violence is so raw. The sounds. Harry falling through that alley, hitting his head on the pipe.
On the clothes, he pulls the clothesline. Bam.
You're right. I can like hear
Into the
those
pipe.
and like feel those way differently than like other movies. Like just especially like in the end with all the sounds comes into play. But
It does though. Sound is very much a part. Sound and then like the absence of sound. They do a really good job of like dropping a bottle like in a room. You would just hear the bottle. Like it's just that sharp noise.
Yep.
And what happens next, man? This is wild. Amnesia?
Amnesia. Good old amnesia.
Good old-fashioned amnesia. Not just amnesia, but he's like, my dad's dead, right?
Right.
And
Hey, Pete.
and he's like, those are my best friends. And the
Yep.
nurse is like, really? And he's like, I'd die for him.
Yep.
And I was like, you're not just like memory loss. You're like, it's almost like you're back in high school.
Yep.
He's got his big jacket again, and they're like playing basketball. He gets him a basketball. He's like, here's a basketball for you. Pete gives him a basketball.
Yeah.
With his name on it. It says
Yeah.
Parker.
This is your old basketball, right, Pete?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the gift.
Right. Loves it.
So yeah, he's amnesia. So it's basically like, the journey of him trying to slowly remember. And Mary Jane is getting fed up with Peter not really quite doing a good enough job. The big night where he's going to propose. Your friend comes back. Your dude.
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell playing a different character.
Yeah. At all 3 movies.
All right. So that's what, as I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, who was he in the first one?
I don't remember.
Right.
But yeah, he's a Sam Raimi guy. Evil Dead was what he was in before.
Mhm.
Burn Notice. If you guys ever watch Burn Notice,
Oh my, I haven't, and I've heard good things.
it's a great show.
You know who he was? I think he was the announcer in the ring.
At the wrestling ring, yeah.
He was the guy in the middle that was like,
Yeah.
"What's your name, kid?" And he's like, "Spider, the human spider."
Human Spider.
It's like, "No, you're Spider-Man."
Spider-Man.
I think that was him.
Yeah.
So yeah, all 3 movies, he's back again. This time,
you're right. What's it up?
is that right?
Spring announcer.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job. I was like,
Yeah.
I remember this if I think hard
PC
enough.
Mike, we miss you.
Miss you a lot, man. Yeah, shout out PC Mike. Get you in here. We keep Scotty coming in here. We got 4 mics. If you don't know at home, we got 4 mics in here.
Nice.
So it's just a matter of like getting seats. Bruce Campbell, yeah, he's back. He's playing the waiter. He's helping Peter with this big proposal. This is after Spider-Man gets the key to the city. Great scene. Just coming in, high-fiving everybody, all the colors. I was like, New York City, they do a great job of showing you how much New York City has like rallied behind this hero.
Yeah.
And it's very much like this is the 3rd movie. But we meet Gwen Stacy,
Gwen Stacy.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yep.
Big appearance. You come in, you're like, oh, okay, I know this character. And she's the commissioner's daughter. We find out during the big crane scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Meet Eddie Brock for the first time, taking the pictures, talking to her dad. That crane scene, that looked good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Tearing apart that building.
Yep. Holds up.
Her sliding down. Spider-Man saves her, but then when he gets to Key City, gives her a little
Upside down kiss.
Well, he doesn't just give her a kiss. This is something that it's not a nitpick. It's just kind of funny. Is like right when Spider-Man gets there, right when he gets there, he's on stage, he zips down, And there's like the front crowd is like, kiss her, kiss, kiss. And I was like,
Lay one on me.
he hasn't even got to give a speech yet.
Yep.
Like, let him give a speech before you start asking him to kiss somebody.
Random women.
And he's like, lay it on me. Yeah, lay one on me. They'll love it. And this destroys MJ.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I mean, me too.
He doesn't know that she's been fired.
He has no idea.
Yeah.
He's like, I know exactly how you feel, MJ. You
Mhm.
get a bad review. You think I don't know about it?
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, he's tearing me apart
Every flippin' day.
every day. He goes, little kids,
Yeah.
wearing my outfit. It's a big Halloween item. He said that. And she's like, you don't know how I feel. He's like, I know exactly how you feel. I was like, Peter, shut up. Like, just not a great boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like, listen. So they're a little bit on the outs. They break up, and MJ starts hanging out with Harry. Essentially,
Mm-hmm.
goes to the
Make
house,
a little breakfast.
make a little breakfast. They're just dancing,
Yep.
dancing,
Having
like
a good
having a good
time.
time. They're both just kind of like, you know what? Let's just check out from the rest and dance and make omelets.
Yep.
Makes a pretty good looking omelet until he flips
Yeah,
it.
until he tries to flip it.
Waste.
Yep.
Then they have a little kiss because they get a little too close. She leaves, and this is when the memories come back. Who makes a comeback in this film, folks? William Dafoe.
William Dafoe.
From the first one and the second one. Here again saying, you've taken your eye off the ball, Harry.
That was pretty good. Pretty good cackles, boys. Good job.
It's so iconic. You
Yeah.
can just hear it.
Yep.
And it all comes back to him. The fall, everything, his dad dying, and now he gets real evil. You go after his heart.
Yep.
And what's he do? He makes MJ break up with him. And like this park, he watches
Yeah.
and is like loving it. And then meets up with Peter at like a cafe diner and looks him in the eye. And he's like, Peter's like, she's seeing another man. And he goes, it's me.
That's me.
And Peter's like, I mean, you can feel the emotion. You're like, this guy is your friend. And now it's like, but he gets outside and he kind of realizes pretty quickly, oh man, he remembers. And he looks back and the waitress is like, how you doing? And he's like, I'm doing great.
Yep.
James Franco just like, I'm doing great. I just shattered my best friend. And the fight scene's back on, but this is where we actually I'm missing one of the biggest parts, obviously. Your favorite part.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the big scene
The
with this.
symbiote.
This is before they break up and anything, but MJ and Peter, this is the beginning of the movie. It takes a while for it to
Yeah.
catch up, but
It's a good hour and 15 minutes or so
from when we meet
into the movie. Yeah.
the symbiote that falls out of the sky.
Yep.
This is where it's almost like, man,
The meteor.
the biggest coincidences happened to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
You're like, okay, this meteor comes out, lands 20 feet from them. It's a symbiote. It's Venom, like black goo, hops on his bike. And yes, an hour and a half later into the movie, Peter learns that his uncle was actually killed by another man.
Oh yeah. Here we go with one of the low points of the movie where they had to retcon the villain into this movie.
And it looks not great. Like
Yeah.
Uncle Ben looks visibly older.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Thomas Hayden Church playing the Sandman.
Sandman. Yeah. I think perfectly cast,
Great.
perfectly played.
Done great. Yes.
The CGI I think was good.
Held up.
Yeah.
I mean, the scene of him running, like seeing his daughter, he's a bank robber, but you weren't there. You don't understand
Yep.
what happened. And running from the cops. And he's he's in the orange jumpsuit.
Yeah.
So Carrie goes, yeah, I guess he escaped from prison. Yes, he's an escaped convict. If you didn't know right then either,
Yeah.
the wife is like, you're an escaped convict. I was like, okay, all right, we get it.
Yep.
But anyway, he's running from the cops. The sign, Carrie goes, what'd that sign say? Back it up. Particle fusion, warning danger. She goes, got it. This guy's about to get disintegrated.
Yep.
And I'm like, you are right on par. Falls into a ditch, a hole. This thing turns on. Claw machine looking thing comes down, starts spinning over him. He tries to run out way too late.
I like the warning from the scientist. Hey, showing some sort of sign of life. It's probably a bird. Just let's keep the countdown going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll
fine.
fly off
It'll
when it
it'll
starts.
buff out.
Fly out when it's over. No, there's a man in there. Particle accelerator starts going. Spin. Sandman is born. He essentially can disintegrate from sand. I mean, you talk about the CGI and the music and the scene of him like rising from the sand. Very good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Emotional.
I can't reach. I can't hold anything. I
Mhm.
can't even like get my body together. He finds the locket with the picture of his daughter. And then it's like,
with a photo of his daughter that looks like it was from like the 30s.
yeah, it looks like it was like your grandma when she
Yeah.
was a kid or something. Like, like an old black and white photo. But he musters the energies, decides, all right, I'm Sandman. I can get out of here. I'm gonna do the same thing I did before. I'm gonna try to like steal some money, save my sick daughter.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter is also, she's very sick. And this is where we get the first encounter. Spider-Man's very much still on an all-time high at this point in the movie. He's feeling good, and he meets the Sandman at the bank truck where just happens to be a big truck of sand.
Yeah.
What do you think that they're doing with that sand? It's for like a local beach volleyball court or something.
Yeah, probably for some
Yep.
like highway dividers or something.
Golf course.
Yeah, golf course, sand trap.
Yep.
Sand trap.
Yeah, that's right. And man, this looks great too. Just the sand flying through the city, him turning himself big, and the big punches with the fist. Yeah, you're like, how is anyone going to stop this thing? Like, he's essentially unstoppable. Help me move it forward. If you're thinking of it, let me know. I'll pick it back up. But I typically run until I go silent, or you guys cut me off.
Yeah.
Is always the drill. All right.
He
got him with some water.
He got him with some water in the subway.
Yeah.
Okay, so this
Well-
is where he's got his. So this is where we're caught back up now. So he finds out that this guy, the Sandman, forget his actual name,
Flint,
Flint.
I think it is.
He's the
Marco.
Flint Marco.
He's the guy that killed Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Turns out the guy that we met in the first movie had a partner. They show this flashback that's very misleading where he just murders him. Peter's so upset about it. He's listening to the police scanner. MJ just left him, so he's really low. And he's laying in bed. He's starting to fall asleep, but he's in a Spider-Man suit. And the Venom, the symbiote, gets up onto his suit, takes over, covers his whole face. And I mean, this is awesome. I just got chills.
Yeah.
Because it goes to dark, and then it opens up on his face, and it zooms out from his Spider-Man eye, and he goes, "What is this?" And then you get the music. It hits.
Yeah.
And he's on the side of the building, and he's in black Spider-Man suit. Oh my! I'll give it up.
Yeah.
Looks really good.
Yeah, for sure. Like, this is when did the first one come out? 2002.
Yep.
I mean, this is something that we waited from the first movie. We were like, when do we get Venom? When do we get the black suit? And I think this was a great origin.
How'd you feel when you saw him on that? In that black suit, side
as
of the building,
usual, you
looking in the mirror.
You get the little tear, and you're like,
Yes.
God, I can't believe I get to see this.
And he's like, this feels good.
Yeah.
He's stronger. He's got an edge to him.
Mhm.
He can basically he can stand on the side of a building.
Stand
now.
on the side. He does the flips.
Does the flips. He's swinging and like landing just on 2 feet. Doesn't really need his hands as much. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. He's got like sticky tack on his feet. Love it. And it also gives him like a little bit of a dark side.
Yeah.
Emo
For sure.
side.
Little edge.
Little emo boy.
Looks in the mirror. He's like, lets his hair fall down a little bit. But in the fight scene, he decides, all right, I already lost to the Sandman once by the bank truck. This is kind of weird, right? How this Venom works in this situation. And I don't know if this is how it worked in the comics or even the cartoon, if you can help us out. But in this, it's essentially on his suit.
Yeah.
And he can like pick and choose when he wears it. Like, it's his
that's
choice.
not really accurate.
It's not, right? Like,
Right.
Venom's, when he's got a host, it's
just like the Venom movies. Like, he's there all the time.
Yes.
And he could just be in his regular street clothes and just, snap, and it comes on, and that's his suit. Like, he doesn't take it off.
Yeah, that's right. I'm even remembering, like, I feel like from like an old video game or something. That's like, yeah, it just snaps. And he is wearing, I feel like it's almost for the storytelling.
Yeah.
He's constantly like,
He's got it on, like, under his jazz suit.
Yes. And so he gets Sandman down in the subway, and this is where he decides, like, I'm going to kill this guy.
Yeah.
He gets him wet, and I mean, he essentially does kill him in his mind. He's like, I killed this guy.
Yeah,
he
this
pulls
guy's
the
gone.
water main, floods him down, tells Aunt May, hey, he's dead. Don't worry.
Yep.
And she's like, it's not up to us to decide who lives and
Right.
dies.
Like, I heard Spider-Man killed that guy, and she's like, that doesn't sound like something Spider-Man would do.
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
And I'm like, doesn't she know? You think she knows? Like
no.
they've never confirmed or denied, but
Yeah.
like no.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Blissful ignorance, I think.
Yeah, just ignore it.
Yeah.
And she's kind of teaching him this lesson, but he's like, he's still wearing his black suit around town, and he's feeling good. He's walking down the street. He's doing a lot of hip dancing. This is where we get Bully McGuire right here. And MJ left him, and with the black suit on, you know what he decides? I am gonna take out my lab partner Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
And not only am I gonna take her out, I'm gonna take her to where Mary Jane's a waitress.
Yeah.
Real jerk move.
And I'm going to interrupt her song to play the hell out of the keyboard.
Yeah.
And dances hard.
Yeah. Goes full out.
I mean, we also got the scene with the suit and the...
Yeah. Gotta...
It's the most uncomfortable scene that I can't stop watching.
Yeah.
Ever.
And
in all movies, ever.
And he rides the chair. He dips Gwen Stacy. What I'm thinking, I want to hear what you guys think about this. Like, what I'm thinking is, like, again, they get in their heads about, like, what's the furthest you could get from Peter Parker? Like, Peter Parker's this guy. Well, what would be like the opposite? And this is where they landed. And I feel like they could have landed in 100 different places. Like, you could have been like this way, but they went like jazzy goth.
Yeah.
What'd you think about it?
'Cause
this is like the most controversial part of the movie. I feel like this is why a lot of people dog on it, is because of this one thing.
It was a little strange, but I don't think they wanted to go full out evil Spider-Man to really sell it. It is a kids movie.
Yeah.
They want that PG-13 to bring the younger audience in. And I think, we'll just make him a jerk.
Like a slimy jerk.
Yeah.
Instead of like a
evil guy.
What do you think?
That's fair. I like that.
I think you're right.
I hope that's right.
What do you think?
Otherwise, it's just, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But from it came some of the best memes of all time. So
for sure,
I'm here for it. But
his face.
When the rewatch though, like I was just like, I was legit like cringing.
It was a little.
But
cringe.
at the same time, I was like, I can't. I want to watch this again. Why? I don't know.
I know, because it's awesome.
Yeah. You might be right.
That
wasn't my least favorite part of the movie, even, to be clear. So we'll get to that later.
We're not there yet?
No.
Okay. We'll keep it in mind. Don't lock it and load it. Well, he decides in that moment. I guess he didn't like it because he kind of looks at himself and he looks at, well, what's he do? The bouncers try to throw him out, and he hits MJ accidentally and knocks her on her ass. And he's like, what have I become?
Yeah. She's like, who are you?
And
he's like, yeah.
He decides, I'm going to go take this thing off.
Yeah, I got to get this thing off me.
Ooh, we missed one thing.
Go ahead.
Did we miss where him and Harry when he burns his face?
So, yeah, this is all. You're right. Yeah, there's a couple things.
That was before that, right?
Yeah, because he's wearing the suit. No, it says he's wearing the suit. There's another fight scene because after Harry drops the bomb on him and says, I was the one with MJ, there's another fight scene. Goes back and finds him, and they fight at Harry's apartment.
He tells him his dad never loved him.
Yeah, your dad was disgusted by you.
Yeah,
like real harsh. And fight, really good fight scene.
Like full on, like they were going at it,
throwing him against the brick wall, the hard punches, and then one last try from Harry, throws one of the goblin bombs, pumpkin
bomb,
yeah. It, right? Pumpkin?
Yeah, pumpkin bomb.
Perfect time of year for this movie. And he throws it at Peter. Peter
Spider sense.
Past.
Yeah.
Web. Blast back. And hey,
back.
Direct callback to the first movie. Instead of blowing up next to Peter's face, right next to Harry's.
Yep.
And man, it messes him up.
Yeah.
A lot worse than
real bad.
A lot worse than what it did to Peter. Peter didn't have one blind white eye.
Yeah.
It was like one of those, like a dog. One of those dogs that has one bad eye.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he messes him up. I think that's it that's all he really does in the black suit, right? And he's like, all right, time to take it off. And all the meanwhile, Eddie Brock, Topher Grace is in this movie.
Yeah.
That 70s show coming in again. Yeah, just a slimy reporter, a photographer after Peter Parker's job, like specifically, like I'm here to take pictures of Spider-Man now. There's a staff job.
Yep.
Whoever brings me the best picture of Spider-Man gets it.
Whoever catches Spider-Man's hand in the candy jar.
Which I was like, this is BS.
Yeah.
He's like, Jonah, Spider-Man, Peter's been with us for years.
Yeah.
I was like, he has.
Right.
It should be his job, but whatever. That's part of the movie. And in the black suit, he destroys Eddie Brock's camera, and Eddie gets a chip on his shoulder about it. What's he do? He fakes a photograph, one of Peter's old ones, gets the job, but then black suit Spider-Man outs him in front of everybody. So now Eddie Brock really hates Peter Parker.
And that's basically along the same lines in the comic book.
It's like how it goes.
They work together at the Daily Planet, or was it Daily Planet? No,
Daily
Bugle.
Yes. Yeah. Spider-Man, Superman, Daily Planet, Daily Bugle. I catch myself all the time tongue twisting those. But yeah, here we are back all caught up, taking off the suit, the church bell in the church. We find out the vibrations. That's all comic accurate, right? Helping take the venom off. It's jumping out of him. You get a little bit more of the venom face coming off. And Eddie Brock just happens to be in the church praying for God to smite Peter Parker. And what's he do? He looks up and he sees Peter Parker. He realizes he's Spider-Man. And the Venom symbiote falls down, lands on him. Eddie Brock is Venom.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I thought it was awesome.
You loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, great scene.
Mm-hmm.
This was like the teaser from the trailer.
Yeah.
Remember?
Eddie Brock hates Peter Parker. The symbiote is now scorned and hates Spider-Man. Match made in heaven.
Match made in heaven. And like, if that wasn't enough, let's team up with the Sandman.
Yeah.
Sandman is like, all right, I'll help you out. What do? They immediately kidnap Mary Jane because they know who Peter Parker is.
Right.
They put her in a giant venom web in the city in a cab with a dump truck above them, and a very, very nice written note in venom web. Spider-Man, it says Spider-Man, catch us if you can, something like that.
Something along those lines.
Or like, let's see what you got. Something.
Show me what you got.
Something like that. And Peter realizes immediately, like, I can't take both these on by myself. He tries to go recruit Harry, who's got the one bad eye, but eventually decides.
Doesn't seem like it's going to work out at first, and goes off on his own.
And he goes off on his own. Doesn't go well. I mean, it goes real bad, actually.
He shows up to the car to save Mary Jane. No Spidey sense. Venom. Boom. Knows how his spider sense works.
Yeah. And just gets him immediately. Like, they plan the whole thing. A little bit of fight here and there. Sandman dragging around. And then eventually hold down Spider-Man on this beam.
Yeah.
The Sandman grows 100 feet tall.
Yeah, huge.
Like, just massively tall, and is just hammering,
pounding it out.
And the people of New York City are just watching him, and the reporter's like, it's hard to watch the brutality. And I was like, it is.
Yeah.
Like, that, you can feel it. And then there's like one more swing to where you're like, okay, he'll die here. And then more pumpkin bombs right there. And the Sandman blows him up. Harry's here to help.
Yeah.
Says, okay, I realize now that you didn't kill my dad because my butler told me.
It's about time, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at everything you've been through over this thing that you didn't realize. And like, what do you mean you didn't realize? Your dad was the Green Goblin. Mm-hmm. And now you're a goblin.
Yeah.
That's just unconscious bias, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah, he's blind.
Yeah.
He's just blind to it.
Yeah.
We get some cool team-up action here, though. Like, I feel like you get your money's worth in these fight scenes.
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure.
Toby jumping through the web and trying to get MJ, Spider-Man on the front of the hoverboard and then flying around using the web,
whipping him super fast. Yeah, that was great.
Using the fire from the bottom of the thing to burn the sand, and he hits his hand on the thing and it's glass.
Yeah,
but that was awesome. I was like, for you other science nerds out there, other scientists that know that, felt like that was definitely like a deep cut. Yeah, like, it's got to turn into glass.
Yep.
And then eventually they take down the Sandman. He falls down, and it's time to take on the Venom. And Venom, Eddie Brock gets a hold of the hoverboard, gets the two claws out of it. A little bit poetic, goes after Spider-Man, and this time Green Goblin, Hobgoblin does jump in front, saves him.
In front of it.
Two spears right through the body. Mm-hmm. Harry's not looking good. Spider-Man still got to beat Venom, though. What'd you think of this?
Yeah.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah, it was great. And, he's fighting, and the pipes all fall down, and you can see the symbiote like, oh, no.
And he just hits them together, stomps them in the ground, builds himself a little cage. Venom tries to, like, get out, and Spider-Man does, like, a flip over the top, hits him back down in there. He's like, get back in there!
Get back in that cage.
Then he gets him all around, and he's just dong, 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 dong. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Not just like getting him out of there. He's like, as the symbiote's coming away, you see the full Venom face, the web, grabbing him with the web and pulling him out, and then deciding, I'm gonna throw a pumpkin bomb in here. These pumpkin bombs stole the movie.
Yeah, for sure. MVP.
The Venom is huge.
Most valuable
Yeah.
pumpkin.
Yep.
Nice. Good job.
Nice.
But eventually fire is also the enemy of Venom and blows him up. But man, what'd you think of that? The Venom, like, really tall,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
big, getting kind of like jaggedy. I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah, I have not seen this movie in probably like a decade, so it was a nice rewatch. But I totally forgot. I was like, during that scene, I was like, all right, I know the vibration part, but like fire can take care of it. And then that happened, and I was like, all right, thank God.
And
They
then
did this right.
and Eddie is like, I want this Venom so much that I'll jump in here with a bomb. And they both die.
Yeah.
See you later, Topher Grace. What do you guys think is Topher Grace is Eddie Brock, Andy?
I mean, it could have been better, but it was fine.
It was fine.
I mean, Venom wasn't my complaint. My biggest thing is Sandman. They could have taken that from the whole movie and
Really?
I've spent more time with Venom. I think it would be so much better.
I just didn't need Sandman to be the one that killed Uncle Ben.
I mean that too. If you remove him from the whole thing, you don't have to do the de-aging or whatever Uncle Ben. You don't have to go down that whole route. I don't know.
Yeah.
You said you like the Venom. You like the Eddie Brock. You've already said.
I like the Eddie Brock. I think Topher Grace did a good job. I do believe that that Venom could have been his own storyline, but I think Spider-Man, like Sony, they were like, we can't just work off one villain here. We did that in the first one. We got to shove something else in here to sell it
just a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it, like, do you think it was like, beginnings of like, Peter says in this movie when he's emptying his suit from all the sand, it's like, where do these guys come from?
Right.
So you're starting to build out like the universe.
Yeah.
Like,
They were building for a Sinister Six, I think.
I think so. But yeah, Topher Grace, certain parts hit just fine. Certain parts did not. Where he's like, he's like, photography actually takes skill instead of flagpoles or whatever. I was like, okay, I guess that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like I was watching Eric a little bit from that 70s show,
Yeah. I think that was more of an issue with the writing.
Yeah.
Other than the casting. And like I said, he was a little undersized, but if you were going for an anti-Spider-Man, they're basically the same. They look the same.
Yes.
They're very similar.
He's got like the blonde hair.
Yeah.
Just a little bit like
same size, same build.
Doesn't mind taking a shortcut though. And Peter's like, he won't even, but I'm like, even for the Spider-Man competition, I was like, at least you're Spider-Man.
Right.
You should win this.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the end of this movie. You get, MJ, Peter, Harry. This is heartbreaking. This guy dies. Get the funeral. And Harry's gone. And then like time goes by and Peter comes back to Mary Jane in the diner or the club where she worked. And they've decided to reconcile.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about when I say like they doubled down. Because that's the end of the movie. The last 20 minutes are that.
Yeah.
It's the funeral and then like them reconnecting and then credits roll. Which I guess I wanted more. I felt like an MCU movie where I was like, there should be an end credit scene, but there's not.
Sandman gets his apology too, at least.
Oh yeah, they retconned the retcon.
Yes.
Where
he's like, actually,
I shot him, but it was an accident.
And I felt really bad about it.
Yeah.
It's been tearing me up.
Yeah. Well, what you don't know is that my partner bumped into me.
Right.
All right, man. Spider-Man 3. That's the movie. Let's talk about our favorite parts, but I'm going to give it up real quick for the story. Andy, Scotty, what we miss? What we like about this movie? What do we not like about it? What keeps you coming back? I feel like the pacing is just fine again. I feel like I gave it a hard time when I was younger again. It's like, do I need all this background? But if there would have been a Spider-Man 4, Spider-Man 5, Spider-Man 6, like I am almost just sad that it stopped.
Yeah.
It almost feels more, I feel more cheated that it ended.
Right.
More about, I don't have bad feelings toward the movie. I think there's things that could have been better. I think the writing could have improved at parts. I think there's some scenes that you could shrink down. But overall, if you're not having fun watching this movie and you're a Spider-Man fan, you're lying.
Yeah.
Because it's fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great fun.
I concur 100%.
Where do you put this, Scotty, next to Spider-Man 2? How do you feel about it? We don't have to get into ratings just yet. I don't want to rush it too much, but it's kind of rant city at this point about the film.
Not as good, obviously. But I think it's close. Problems aside, with the retcon and the other retcon, and some of the writing and some of the scenes, they got the cheese factor in there. But I think it's a great fun movie.
Andy, anything we missed? What are you thinking?
I don't think so. I mean, I really did enjoy it, just not as much as the first two. And if you change just a few things, like I said, it would be right there with them. But I think they maybe just tried to do too much for this one.
Yeah, there's just a lot happening.
To the fault, like I just wonder why wasn't there a fourth one? Do we know the actual story behind that, or
you might know?
I wish I want to know, or maybe we'll get one someday.
Yeah, or maybe we're about to get it. Like
that's why we're here, am I right?
That's why we're here.
I feel like, just like you said, I don't think this would be as big as of a problem if they would have made a fourth movie.
Right.
They laid that groundwork for Venom, I think, for another arc. The first arc was, Peter and Harry and every movie, and they killed him. And now they start a new arc, and it just didn't pay out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it felt like a little open-ended on so many things, but then also like you close the book on a couple things,
right?
Where you're like, why are you closing the book on these? Like, let's keep going. You know, like it's like 3. This was the time they weren't thinking about movies like that. It was make a good trilogy.
Yep, trilogy.
All right, dude. Spider-Man 3, the third one. Yeah, we're talking about it for No Way Home. I mean, my gosh, are we gonna get like? It's not redemption, but man, Tobey payout. Yeah, like I mean, how cool if they just bring him into this movie, and then he's just back.
Yeah, 14 years later,
and like keep him coming back.
Yeah,
like not just like a one-off. I'm always scared of one-offs. I don't like just the one-off like visit. I want to see it.
There's a Spider-Verse. Anything's possible.
Oh, I can't wait.
Please, God.
Please do it. All right, man. That's Spider-Man 3, the third one. We did it. The Sam Raimi films. What a good time rewatching these. Can we agree?
Yes.
Like, just like you don't. We didn't even like talk about watching these until No Way Home was coming around. But to put these on, 17 years since the first one. It's been 2007 was Spider-Man 3. To put it on again, these are an easy rewatch. This was so much fun. Like I'm talking about like a couple years from now, put it back on.
Yeah.
How often you watch Spider-Man 2?
At least once a year.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Oh, wow, yeah, you love it.
Yeah,
I see why though.
Yeah,
it's easy.
They're normally on TV at all times, but I have a feeling that's not going to be the case for the next few months because they're trying to get all of my $4 at a time.
Get all your
in there. They're going to get it.
They're going after all your credits.
We just need to plan better and all watch together at the same time somewhere.
Well, the more we do mostly superheroes, the more in tune we'll get with when they're making what for what, and we'll be like, hey, in 2 months they're gonna announce this movie.
Yeah.
Time to watch it, and we'll always do that. So yeah, go check out all of our Sony Spider-Verse reviews at mostlysuperheroes.com/Sony. Got the Sony Spider-Man Universe Review Library. I mean, hard to believe there's 3 movies in here with Venom in it. Crazy to see the first iteration too, and to hear your thoughts on you like this one better than the Venom movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge, but I also understand. I definitely understand. I feel like that's definitely what made those Venom movies maybe a little bit like you feel like something's missing. It's because like something is missing.
Yeah.
Like there isn't like the arc isn't there. You almost just get like Eddie Venom being like kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Instead of like
it almost feels like sort of a buddy comedy.
It's a buddy cop movie.
Yeah.
Which that's what everybody loved about the second one, and that's what they decided, right? Let's double down on this relationship, but you don't get like that initial like Venom just full on bad. Well, you got it in Spider-Man 3 if you want to see it
for sure.
Sony Spider-Man Universe Library. Go check it out. Mostlysuperheroes.com. We'll keep filling it up for you. With that, let's talk about what's coming up.